Om Ganana Ganapati Gammavahe Kavim Kavinamupavashravasrama Jeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspada Anushranoti Visnida Sadhanam Om Mahaganadipataye Namaha Om Keshwaya Namaha Om Narayana Om Madhvaya Namaha Om Govindaya Namaha Om Vishnuve Namaha Madhusudhanaya Namaha Vikramaya Namaha Vamanaya Namaha Sridharaya Namaha Rishikeshaya Namaha Padmanabhaya Namaha Damodaraya Namaha Sankarshan Vasudevaya Namaha Pradyumnaya Namaha Niruddhaya Namaha Purushottamaya Namaha Dokshaya Namaha Narasimhaya Namaha Achyutaya Namaha Janardhanaya Namaha Upendraya Namaha Hare Namaha Sri Krishnaya Namaha Pranamase Brahmashri Paramatma Devata Devi Gachandaha Om Hari Om Hari Om. We are coming to the 6th chapter of 8th canto in Bhagavata Puranam. In the 6th chapter, we are going to discuss about the compromise between the asuras and devas. They compromised with Bali Chakravarti to do churning the ocean to get Amrita, and how after submitting the prayers to Lord Narayana appeared before the gods when they offered him their prayers. Following the advice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, the gods executed a compromise or a truce with the asuras for the purpose of churning the ocean to get nectar, Amrita. Because of the prayers offered by the gods in the previous chapter, Lord Kshirodakasya Vishnu was pleased with the gods, and thus he appeared before them. The gods were almost blinded by his transcendental bodily effusions. At first, therefore, they could not even see any part of his body. After some time, however, when Brahma could see the Lord, he, along with the Lord Shiva, began to offer the Lord prayers. Lord Brahma said, Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, being beyond birth and death, is eternal. He has no material qualities. Yet he is the ocean of unlimited auspicious qualities. He is subtler than the most subtle. He is invisible and his form is inconceivable. He is worshipable for all the gods. For all the gods, innumerable universe exist within his form, and therefore he is never separated from this universe by time, space, and circumstance. He is the chief and pradhan, although he is the beginning, the middle, and the end of the material creation. The idea of pantheism conceived by Mayavadi philosophers has no validity. The Supreme Personality of Godhead controls the entire material manifestation through his subordinate agents. The external energy, because of his inconceivable transcendental position, he is always the master of the material energy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his various forms, is always present, even within this material world. But the material qualities cannot touch him. One can understand his position only by his instructions, as given in Bhagavad Gita. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tham. Yogam Tham. Buddhi Yoga means Bhakti Yoga. Only through the process of Bhakti Yoga, one can understand the Narayana, Supreme God. When offered prayers by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased. Thus, he gave the appropriate instructions to all gods. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who is known as Ajita, unconquerable means, Ajita means unconquerable, advised the gods to make a peace proposal to the asuras, so that after formulating a compromise, the gods and asuras could churn the ocean of milk. The rope could be the biggest serpent known as Vasuki, and the churning rod would be Manthara mountain. Poison would also be produced from the churning, but it would be taken by Lord Shiva, and so there would be no need to fear. Many other attractive things would be generated by the churning of the ocean, but the Lord warned the gods not to be captivated by such things. Nor should the gods be angry if there are some disturbances. After advising the gods in this way, the Lord disappeared from the scene. Following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, the gods established a peace with Maharaja Bali, the king of the demons. Then both the demons and the gods started for the churning of the ocean, taking Mandara mountain with them. Because the great heaviness of the mountain, the gods and demons became fatigued, and some of them actually died. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, appeared there on the back of his carrier, Garuda, and by his mercy, he brought these gods and demons back to the life. The Lord then lifted the mountain with one of his hands and placed it on the back of the Garuda. The Lord sat on the mountain and was carried to the spot of the churning of the ocean by Garuda, who placed the mountain in the middle of the sea. Then the Lord asked Garuda to leave the place because as long as Garuda was present, Vasuki could not come there. This sort of situation, Lord Narayana, Ajita becomes a tortoise, a very big, huge tortoise to carry the mountain of Mandarachala mountain to churn the ocean. Shuka Maharshi said, O King Parikshit, Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, being thus worshipped with the prayers of God, including Brahma, appeared before them. His bodily effulgence resembled the simultaneous rising of thousands of suns. The vision of all the gods was blocked by the Lord's effulgence. Thus, they could see neither the sky, the directions, the land, nor even themselves. What to speak of seeing the Lord, who was present before them? So, because of the brightness of thousand suns together, the effulgence coming from the Lord Narayana is so bright, they can't even open their eyes. Lord Brahma, along with the Lord Shiva, saw the crystal clear personal beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose blackish body resembles a Marakata gem, whose eyes are reddish like the depths of the lotus, who is dressed with garments that are yellow like molten gold, and whose entire body is attractively decorated. They saw his beautiful, smiling, lotus like face crowned by a helmet bedecked with valuable jewels. The Lord has attractive eyebrows, and his cheeks are adorned with earrings. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva saw the belt on the Lord's waist. The Lord has attractive eyebrows, and his cheeks are adorned with earrings. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva saw the belt on the Lord's waist, the bangles of his arms, the necklace on his chest, and the ankle bells on his legs. The Lord is bedecked with flower garlands. His neck is decorated with the Kaustuba gem, and he carries with him the goddess of fortune and his personal weapons like his disc and club. When Lord Brahma, along with the Lord Shiva and the other gods, the gods, fell on the feet of the Lord Narayana, and Lord Brahma said, although you are never born, your appearance and disappearance as an incarnation never cease. Hello, Harsh. Yeah, I written the reply to the brother. We are stick to our policy. But they are all angry upon me. Prem, Umesh Sharma, Chawla, they're all angry. We will stick to our principle anyway. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's at fault. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. No problem. No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Lord Brahma says, although you are never born, your appearance and disappearance as an incarnation never cease. You are always free from the material qualities, and you are the shelter of transcendental bliss, resembling an ocean. Eternally existing in your transcendental form, you are the supreme subtle of the most extremely subtle. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto you, the supreme whose existence is inconceivable. O best of persons, O supreme director, those who actually aspire for supreme good fortune worship this form of your lordship according to the Vedic tantras. My lord, we can see all the three worlds in you. My dear Lord, who are always fully independent. This entire cosmic manifestation arises from you, rests upon you, and ends in you. Your leadership, your lordship is the beginning, sustenance, and end of everything, like the earth, which is the cause of an earthen part, which supports the part, and to which the part, when broken, finally returns. O Supreme, you are the independent in yourself and do not take help from others. Through your own potency, you create this cosmic manifestation and enter into it. Those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness, who are fully in knowledge of the authoritative or Shastra, and who, through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, are cleansed of all material contamination, can see with clear minds that although you exist within the transformations of the material qualities, your presence is unattached. Your presence is untouched by these qualities. As one can derive from as one can derive fire from the wood, milk from the milk bag of the cow, and food grains and water from the land, and prosperity in one's livelihood from industrial enterprises. So, by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, even within this material world, one can achieve your favor or intelligently approach you. Those who are pious all affirm this. As one can derive fire from wood, milk from milk bag of the cow, food grains and water from the land, and of prosperity in one's livelihood from industrial enterprises. So, by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, even within this material world, one can achieve your favor or intelligently approach you. Those who are pious all affirm this. Elephants afflicted by a forest fire become very happy when they get water from the Ganga river. Similarly, O my Lord, from whose navel grows a lotus flower, since you have now appeared before us, we have become transcendently happy by seeing your Lordship, whom we have desired to see for a very long time. We have achieved our ultimate goal in life. Feet. Please fulfill the purpose for which we have come. You are the witness of everything from within and without. Nothing is unknown to you. You therefore, it is unnecessary to inform you again. So this is how the Lord, all the gods prayed. I, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the other gods, accompanied by the Prajapatis like Daksha, are nothing but sparks by you, who are the original fire. Since we are particles of you, what can be understood about our welfare? O Supreme Lord, please give us the means of deliverance that is suitable for Brahmanas and gods. So Brahma is submitting his request to Lord Narayana to guide them what we should do now. Shukha Maharshi continued to talk to Parikshit when the Lord Brahma was thus offered prayers by the gods, headed by Lord Brahma, and Lord Narayana was thus offered prayers by gods, headed by Lord Brahma. He understood the purpose for which they have approached him. Therefore, in deep voice that resembled the rumbling of clouds, the Lord replied to gods, who all stood there attentively with folded hands. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of the Although Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, the master of the gods, was capable of performing the activities of the gods by himself, he wanted to enjoy the pastimes in churning the ocean. Therefore, he spoke as follows. Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana tells Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other gods, please hear me with great attention, for what I say will bring good fortune for all of you. As long as you are not flourishing, you should make a truce with the demons and asuras, who are now being favored by time. As long as you are not flourishing, you should make a truce with the demons and asuras, who are now being favored by time. So Narayana is asking all the gods to have an arrangement with the asuras to churn the ocean. And Narayana said it's the right time to approach. O gods, fulfilling one's own interest is so important that one may even have to make a truce with one's enemies. For the sake of one's self interest, one has to act according to the logic of the snake and the mouse. O gods, fulfilling one's own interest is so important that one may even have to make a truce with one's enemies. For the sake of one's self interest, one has to act according to the logic of the snake and the mouse. A snake and a mouse were once caught in a basket. Now, since the mouse is food for the snake, this was a good opportunity for the snake to eat. However, since both of them were caught in the basket, even if the snake or the snake would not be able to get out. Therefore, the snake thought it is wise to make a truce with the mouse and ask the mouse to make a hole in the basket so that both of them can get out. The snake's intention was that after the mouse made the hole, the snake would eat the mouse and escape from the basket through the hole. This is called the logic of snake and the mouse. This is the logic of snake and mouse. Immediately endeavor to produce nectar, which a person who is about to die may drink to become immortal. Immediately endeavor to produce nectar, amrita, with a person who is about to die may drink to become immortal. O gods, cast into the ocean of milk all kinds of vegetables, grass, creepers, and drugs. Then, with my help, making the Mandara mountain the churning rod and Vasuki the rope of churning, churn the ocean of milk with undiverted attention. Thus, the asuras will be engaged in labor, but you, the gods, will gain the actual result, the nectar produced from the ocean. It appears that when different kinds of drugs, creepers, grass, and vegetables are put into this milk, and the milk is churned. As milk is churned for butter, the active principles of the vegetables and drugs mix with the milk, and the result is nectar. It appears that when the different kinds of drugs, creepers, grass, and vegetables are put into this milk, and the milk is churned, as the milk is churned for butter, the active principles of vegetables and drugs mix with the milk, and the result is nectar. Amrita is coming. That's the explanation given by the author. My dear gods, with the patience and peace, everything can be done. But if one is agitated by anger, the goal is not achieved. Therefore, whatever the demons ask, agree to their proposal. A poison known as Kalakuta will be generated from the ocean of milk, but you should never fear for that. And when various products are churned from the ocean, you should not be greedy for them or anxious to obtain them, nor should you be angry. So it appears that by churning the process, many things would be generated from the ocean of milk, including poison, valuable gems, nectar, the amrita, and many beautiful women and demigods. The gods were advised, however, not to be greedy for the gems and beautiful women, but to wait patiently for the nectar, amrita, The real purpose was to get the Amrita from this churning of the ocean. Sukha Maharshi continued, O King Parikshit, after advising the gods in this way, the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, the best of all living entities, disappeared from their presence. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, after offering their respectable obeisance to the Lord Narayana, returned to their abodes. All the gods also approached Mahabali. All the gods then approached Maharaja Bali Chakravarti, who is the king of Demon. Maharaja Bali, a most celebrated king of demons, knew very well when to make peace and when to fight. Thus, although his commanders and captains were agitated and were about to kill the gods, Maharaja Bali, seeing the gods were coming to him without a militant attitude, forbade his commanders to kill them. The gods approached Bali Maharaja, the son of Virochana, and sat down near him. Bali Maharaja was protected by the commanders of the demons and was most opulent, having conquered all the universe. After pleasing Bali Maharaja with mild words, Lord Indra, the king of gods, who was most intelligent, very politely submitted all the proposals he had learned from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. The proposals submitted by King Indra were immediately accepted by Bali Maharaja. The proposals submitted by King Indra were immediately accepted by Bali Maharaja and his assistants, headed by Sambara and Aristinemi, and by all the other residents of Tripura. It appears from this verse that politics, diplomacy, and prosperity, to cheat and everything that we found in this world in individual and social negotiation between the two parties are also present in the upper planetary system. The gods went to Bali Maharaja with the proposal to manufacture Amrita by churning the ocean. And the Daityas, that is demons, immediately accepted it, thinking that since the gods were already weak, when the nectar was produced, the demons would take it from them and use it for their own purposes. The gods, of course, had similar intentions. The only difference is that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, was on the side of gods because the gods were his devotees, whereas the demons did not care about Lord Vishnu. All over the universe, there are two parties. The Vishnu party, or God conscious party, and the godless party. The godless party is never happy or victorious, but the God conscious party is always happy and victorious. O Maharaja Parikshit, justiciar of enemies, the gods and the asuras thereafter made an army. They arranged to produce Amrita, nectar, as proposed by the Lord Indra. Thereafter, with great strength, and demons and the gods, who were all powerful and who had long stout arms, uprooted the Mandara mountain, crying very loudly, they brought it far towards the ocean milk. Because of conveying the great mountain for a long distance, King Indra, Maharaja Bali, and other gods and demons became fatigued. Being unable to carry the mountain, they left it on the way. The mountain known as Mandarachala mountain, which was extremely heavy, being made of gold, fell and smashed many demigods and demons. By constitution, gold is heavier than the stone. Since Mandara mountain was made of gold and was therefore heavier than stone, the gods and demons could not properly carry it to the ocean of milk. The gods and asuras were frustrated and disheartened, and their arms, thighs, shoulders were broken. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, who knows everything, appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda. Observing the most of the Daityas and the gods had been crushed by the falling of the mountain, the Lord glanced over them and brought them back to the life. Thus, they became free from the grief, and they even had no bruises on their bodies. The Lord Narayana very easily lifted the mountain with one hand and placed it on the back of the Garuda. Then he too got on the back of the Garuda and went to the ocean of milk, surrounded by some of the gods and daityas and asuras and gods. Here is the proof of the omnipotence of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is above everyone. There are two classes of living entities, the demons and the gods, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above them both. The demons believe in the chance theory of creation, whereas the gods believe in creation by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. The omnipotence of the Supreme Lord is proved here. For simply with one hand he lifted the Mandara mountain, the demigods and the demons, placed them on the back of the Garuda, and brought them to the ocean of milk. Now the gods, the devotees, would immediately accept this incident, knowing that Lord can lift anything, however heavy it might be. But although Daityas were also carried along with the gods, demons, upon hearing of this incident, would say that it's mythological, but if God is all powerful, why would it be difficult for him to lift mountain? Since he is floating innumerable planets with many hundreds and thousands of Mandara mountains, why can't he lift one of them with his hand? This is not the mythology, but the difference between the believers and faithless is that devotees accept the incidents mentioned in the Vedic literatures to be true, whereas the Daityas simply argue and label all these historical incidents as mythology. The Daityas would prefer to explain that everything happening in the cosmic manifestation takes place by chance, but gods or devotees never consider anything to be chance. Rather, they knew that everything is an arrangement of Supreme Personal Godhead. That is the difference between the gods and Daityas. Thereafter, Garuda, the chief of birds, unloaded the Mandara mountain from his shoulder and brought it near the water. Then he was asked by Lord to leave that place, and he left. Garuda was asked by the Lord to leave that place because the snake Vasuki, who was to be used as a rope for churning the ocean, would not go there in the presence of Garuda. Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, the Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, is not a vegetarian. He eats big snakes. Vasuki, being a great snake, would be natural food for Garuda. The chief of birds, Lord Vishnu, therefore asked Garuda to leave so that Vasuki could be brought to churn the ocean with Mandara mountain, which was to be used for the churning of the mountain. These are the wonderful arrangements of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing takes place by accident. Carrying Mandara mountain on the back of a bird and putting it on its right position might be difficult for anyone, whether demigod or demon. But for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is possible, as shown by his pastime. The Lord had no difficulty lifting the mountain with one hand, and Garuda, his carrier, carried all the demons and gods together by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic power, because of his omnipotence. If he likes, he can make anything lighter than cotton or heavier than universe. Those who do not believe in the activities of the Lord cannot explain how things can happen. Using words like accident, they take shelter of the ideas that are unbelievable. Nothing is accidental. Everything is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Lord himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Whatever actions and reactions occur within the cosmic manifestation all take place under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, because the demons do not understand the potency of the Lord. However, demons do not understand the potency of the Lord. When wonderful things are done, the demons think that they are accidental. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th canto, 6th chapter of Srimad Bhagavata, line titled The Gods and Demons Counter Truths. The next chapter is the 7th chapter. In this chapter, a description was given of Halhala, Kalakota, poison is coming in the first place in the churning of the ocean, and the gods and demons went to Lord Shiva requesting him to help, and that Lord Shiva came with the, after talking to Parvati, came to drink the poison with understanding that when the Amrita was generated from the churning, they would share it equally. The gods, the demigods, and the demons brought Vasuki to be used as a rope for the churning of the rod. By the expert arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons held a snake near the mouth, whereas the gods held the tail of the great snake. Then, with great endeavor, they began pulling the snake in both directions because the churning rod, Mandara mountain, was very heavy and was not held by any support in the water. It sank into the ocean. And this, the prowess of both the demons and the gods was vanquished. Supreme Personality Godhead then appeared in the form of a tortoise and supported Mandara mountain on his back. Then the churning resumed with a great force. As a result of churning, a huge amount of poison was produced. This Prajapati seeing no one else to save them, and approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers full of truth. The Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh because he is very pleased if one is devotee. Therefore, he easily agreed to drink all the poison generated by the churning. The goddess of Durga, Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, was knew Lord Shiva's prowess. Indeed, she expressed her pleasure at his agreement. Then Lord Shiva gathered the devastating poison which was everywhere. He took it in his hand and drank it. After he drank the poison, his neck became bluish. A small quantity of the poison dropped from his hands to the ground. It is because of this poison there are poisonous snakes, scorpions, toxic plants, and other poisonous things in this world. Shuka Maharshi said, O Bhishta of the Kuru, Parikshit Maharaj, the gods and the Daityas summoned Vasuki, king of the serpents, requesting him to come and promising to give him a share of the nectar. They coiled Vasuki around the Mandara mountain as churning rope, and with great pleasure they endeavored to produce nectar by churning the ocean of milk. The personality of Godhead, Ajita, grasped the front portion of the snake, and then the other gods followed. The leaders of the demons thought it is unwise to hold the tail, the inauspicious portion of the snake. Instead, they wanted to hold the front, which had been taken by the personality of Godhead and the other gods, because that portion was auspicious and glorious. Thus, the demons, Daityas, on the plea that they were all highly advanced students of Vedic technology, Vedic knowledge, and were all famous for their birth and activities, protested that they wanted to hold the front of the snake. So Daityas protested and they wanted to hold the front of the snake. The demons thought that the front of the snake was auspicious and that catching hold of that portion would be more attractive for them. Moreover, Daitya must always do the opposite of their gods. That is their nature. We have actually seen this in relation to our Krishna consciousness movement. We are advocating cow protection and encouraging people to drink more milk and eat palatable preparations made of milk. But the demons, just to protest such proposals, are claiming that they are advanced in scientific knowledge, as described here by the words of Swadhya Shruta Sampanna. They say that according to their scientific way, they have discovered that milk is dangerous and that the beef obtained by killing cows is very nutritious. They say that according to their scientific way, they have discovered that milk is dangerous and that the beef obtained by killing cows is very nutritious. This difference of opinion will always continue. Indeed, it has existed since days of yore. Millions of years ago, there was the same competition. The demons, as a result of their so-called Vedic study, prefer to hold the side of the snake near the mouth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thought it is wise to catch hold of the dangerous part of the snake and allow the demons to hold the tail, which was not dangerous. But because of a competitive desire, the demons thought it is wise to hold the snake near the mouth. If the gods were going to drink poison, the demons would dissolve. Why should we not share the poison and die gloriously by drinking it? In regard to the words Swadhyaya Shruta Sampannaha Prakhyata Janma Karmabhi, another question may be arised. If one is actually educated in Vedic knowledge, it is famous for performing prescribed activities and has been born in a great aristocratic family, why should he be called a demon? The answer is that one may be highly educated, may have been born in an aristocratic family, but if he is godless, if he does not listen to the instructions of the god, then he is a demon. There are many examples in history of men like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, and Kamsa who are all educated, but who are born in aristocratic families and who are very powerful and chivalrous in fighting, but who, because of deriding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were called Rakshasas or demons. One may be very well educated, but if he has no sense of Krishna consciousness, no obedience to the Supreme Lord, he is a demon. That is described in the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of the demons, do not surrender unto me. Asuram bhamam refers to not accepting the existence of Lord and the transcendental instructions of the personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita clearly consists of transcendental instructions imparted directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But asuras, instead of accepting these instructions directly, make commentaries according to their own whimsical ways and mislead everyone without profit even for themselves. One should therefore be very careful of demonic, godless persons. According to the words of Lord Krishna, even if a godless demon is very well educated, he must be considered a mudra, harada. He must be considered mudha, naradhama, and maya, maya pratajnana. Maya pratajnana. Thus, the Daityas remained silent, opposing the desire of the gods. Seeing the Daityas and understanding their motive, the personality of Godhead smiled. Without discussion, he immediately accepted their proposal by grasping the tail of the snake, and gods followed him. So Ajita followed the tail end of the snake, and all the gods followed him. After thus adjusting how the snake was to be held, the sons of Kashyapa, both gods and demons, began their activities, desiring to get nectar by churning the ocean of milk. O son of Pandu dynasty, when Mandara mountain was thus being used as a churning rod in the ocean of milk, it had no support. And therefore, although held by the strong hands of the gods and demons, it sank into the water. Because the mountain had been sunk by the strength of the providence, the gods and demons were disappointed, and their faces seemed to shrivel. Seeing the situation that had been created by the will of the Supreme, the ultimately powerful Lord was determination is infallible. and took the wonderful shape of the tortoise, entered the water, and lifted the great Mandara mountain. So Lord Narayana became a big tortoise, entered the ocean, go under the mountain, and lift the mountain on the back of the tortoise. When gods and demons saw the Mandara mountain had been lifted, they were enlivened, and encouraged to begin churning again. The mountain rested on the back of the great tortoise, which extended for 800,000 miles like a large island. O king, when the gods and daityas, by the strength of their arms, rotated Mandara mountain on the back of the extraordinary big tortoise, the tortoise accepted the rolling of the mountain as a means of scratching his body, and thus he felt passing sensation. He felt a pleasing sensation. The Narayana is happy the mountain is churning the ocean now. Therefore, thereafter Lord Vishnu entered the demons as the quality of poison. Thereafter, Lord Vishnu entered the Daityas as the quality of the passion, that's Rajoguna, the gods as the quality of goodness, Sattva, and Vasuki as the quality of ignorance, and encouraged them and increased their various types of strength and energy. The Lord Vishnu giving energy for both gods and Daityas. Manifesting himself with thousands of hands, the Lord then appeared on the summit of Mandara mountain like another great mountain, and held Mandara mountain with one hand in the upper planetary systems. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, along with Indra, king of heaven, and other gods, offered prayers to the Lord and showered of flowers upon him. The gods and demons worked almost madly for the nectar, encouraged by the Lord, who was above and below the mountain, and who had entered the demigods and demons. Vasuki and the mountain itself, because of the strength of the gods and demons, the ocean of milk was so fully agitated, that all the alligators in the water were very much perturbed. Nonetheless, the churning of the ocean continued in this way. The churning of the ocean started. Vasuki had thousands of eyes and mouths. From his mouths, he breathed smoke and blazing fire, which affected the Daityas, headed by Puloma, Kaleya, Bali, and Ilvala. The demons who appeared like sarala trees, burned by a forest fire, gradually became powerless. Because of the gods were also affected by the blazing breath of the Vasuki, their bodily lustres diminished, and their garments, garlands, weapons, and faces were blackened by smoke. However, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, clouds appeared in the sea, pouring torrents of rain, and breezes blew, carrying particles of water from the sea waves to give the demigods relief. When nectar did not come from the ocean of milk, despite the much endeavor by the best of the gods and demons, the Supreme Personal Godhead Ajita personally began to churn the ocean. The Lord appeared like a blackish cloud. He was dressed with yellow garments. His earrings, his earrings shone on his ears like lightning, and his hair spread over his shoulders. He wore a garland of flowers, and his eyes were pinkish. With his strong, glorious arms, which award fearlessness throughout the universe, he took hold of Vasuki and began churning of the ocean, using the Mandara mountain as a churning rod. When engaged in this way, the Lord appeared like beautifully situated mountain named Indranila. The fish, sharks, tortoises, and snakes were almost agitated and perturbed in the ocean. The entire ocean became turbulent. Even the large aquatic animals like whales, water elephants, crocodiles, and timingilas, fish, large whales that can swallow more small whales, came to the surface, while, while the ocean was being churned this way. They first produced a fiercely dangerous poison called Halhala or Kalakutvisa. So the poison came, Halhala came. O king, when the uncontrollable poison was forcibly spreading up and down in all the direction, all the demigods, along with the Lord himself, approached Lord Shiva, feeling unsheltered, and very, very much afraid. They sought shelter from him. One, one may question One may question that since the Supreme Personality Godhead Narayana was personally present, why did he accompany all the other gods and people in general to take shelter of Lord Shiva? Instead of intervening himself in this connection, Srila Madhvacharya warms, Lord Vishnu was a competent to rectify the situation, but in order to give credit to Lord Shiva, who later drank all the drank all the poison and kept it in his dark neck. The Lord Vishnu did not take action at all. Lord Shiva drank the poison and it is stuck in the neck, and the neck became blue. He is called Nilakanta. From this time onwards, after the, the neck became blue, he is called Nilakanta. The gods observed Lord Shiva sitting on the summit of Kailasa hill with his wife Bhavani for the auspicious development of three worlds. He was being worshipped by great saintly persons desiring liberation. The gods offered him their obeisances and prayers with great respect. The Prajapati said, O greatest of all gods, Mahadeva, super soul of all living entities and cause of their happiness and prosperity, we have come to the shelter. We have come to the shelter of your lotus feet. Now please save us from this fiery poison, which is spreading all over the three worlds. Since Lord Shiva is in charge of annihilation, why should he be approached for protection, which is given by Lord Vishnu? Lord Brahma creates, the Lord Shiva annihilates. But both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are incarnations of Lord Vishnu and are known as Shaktivesha avatars. They are endued with a special power like that of a Lord Vishnu, who is actually all-pervading in their activities. Therefore, whenever prayers for protection are offered to Lord Shiva, actually Lord Vishnu is indicated. For otherwise, Lord Shiva is meant for destruction. Lord Shiva is one of the Ishwaras, or the controllers known as Satyakeshiva Avatar. Satyeshwa Avatar. Therefore, he can be addressed as having qualities of Lord Vishnu. O Lord, you are the cause of bondage and liberation of the tenure of the entire universe, because you are its ruler. Those who are advanced in the spiritual consciousness surrender unto you, and you are also the cause of their liberation. We therefore worship your leadership, Narayana. The gods submitted their prayers to Narayana by worshipping. Actually, Lord Vishnu maintains and accomplishes all good fortune. If one has to take shelter of Lord Vishnu, why should the gods take shelter of Lord Shiva? They did so because Lord Vishnu acts through Lord Shiva in the creation of material world. The Lord Shiva acts on behalf of the Lord Vishnu when the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita that he is the father of all living entities. Aham Beja Pradapita. This refers to action performed by Lord Vishnu through the Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu is always unattached to material activities. And when material activities are to be performed, Lord Vishnu performs them through the Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is therefore worshipped on the level of Lord Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu is untouched by the external energy, he is Lord Vishnu, but when he is in touch with external energy, he appears in his feature as Lord Shiva. O Lord, you are self-effulgent and supreme. You create this material world by your personal energy, and you assume the names Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara when you act in creation, maintenance, and annihilation. This prayer is actually offered to Lord Vishnu, the Purusha, who is in his incarnations as the Gunavataras. This prayer is actually offered to Lord Vishnu, the Purusha. That's Purusha Sukta, who in his incarnations as the Guna Avataras assumes the name of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. You are the cause of all causes, the self-effulgent, inconceivable, impersonal Brahman, which is originally Parabrahman. You manifest various potencies in this cosmic manifestation. This prayer is offered to the impersonal Brahman, which consists of the effulgent rays of Parabrahman. Parabrahman is the supreme personality. We are in the 25th shloka. Tvam Shabdayor Nirja Gadadiratma Pranendriya Dravya Guna Subhavaha Kalaha Krutaha Satyamrutam Cha Dharmam Stoyaksharam Yat Pravrdana Manante. Yat Tri Vrdana Manante. The shloka 25 says, O Lord, you are the original source of Vedic literature. You are the original cause of material creation. The life force, the senses, the five elements, the three modes, and the Maha Tattva. You are eternal time, determination, and the two religious systems called truth, Satya, and untruthfulness. Satya and Mithya. They are the shelter of the syllable Om, which constitutes three letters A-U-Ma. O Father of all planets, learned scholars know that fire is your mouth. The surface of the globe is your lotus feet. Eternal time is your movement. All the directions are your ears. And Varuna Master of the waters is your tongue. Is the Shruti mantras. It is said that Agni Sarva Devataha. Fire is the aggregate of all gods. Agni is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is through Agni or fire that the Lord accepts all sacrificial oblations given in the Yajna and Yaga. O Lord, the sky is your navel, the air is your breathing, the sun is your eyes, and the water is your semen. You are the shelter of all kinds of living entities, high and low. The god of the moon is your mind, and the upper planetary system is your head. O Lord, you are the three Vedas personified. The seven seas are your abdomen, and the mountains are your bones. All drugs, creepers, and vegetables are the hairs on your body. The Vedic mantras like Gayatri are the 7 layers of your body, and the Vedic religious system is the core of your heart. O Lord, the 5 important Vedic mantras are represented by your 5 faces, from which the 38 most celebrated Vedic mantras have been generated. Your Lordship being celebrated as Lord Shiva is self-illuminated. You are directly situated as the supreme truth known as Paramatma. O Lord, the 5 important Vedic mantras are represented by your 5 faces, from which the 38 most celebrated Vedic mantras have been generated. Your Lordship, being celebrated as Lord Shiva, is self-illuminated. You are directly situated as the supreme truth known as Paramatma. The 5 mantras mentioned in this connection are as follows. Purusha, that is Purusha Sukta, Aghora Sukta, Sadyojata Mantra, Vamadeva Mantra, and Ishana Mantra. These 5 mantras are within the category of 38 special Vedic mantras chanted by Lord Shiva, who is therefore celebrated as Shiva or Mahadeva. Another reason why Lord Shiva is called Shiva, which means all auspicious, is that he is self-illuminated, exactly like Lord Vishnu, who is the Paramatma. Because Lord Shiva is directly an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he is situated as Lord Vishnu's direct representative. This fact is corroborated by Vedic mantra. Patim Vishwa Patim Vivasyatam Anusuraha Shashvatam Shivam Achyutam. The Super Soul is called many names, of which Maheshwara, Shiva, and Achyuta are especially mentioned. O Lord, your shadow is seen in irreligion, which brings about varieties of irreligious creations. The 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, that is, Sattvika Guna, Rajasika Guna, and Tamo Guna, are your 3 eyes. All the Vedic literatures, which are full of verses, are emanations from you because their compilers wrote the various scriptures after receiving your glance. O Lord Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental at the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the various directors of this material world certainly cannot appreciate it or even know where it is. It is not understandable. Even the Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, or the King of Heavens, Mahendra. Brahma Jyoti is actually the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as stated in Brahma Samhita. When annihilation is performed by the flames and sparks emanating from your eyes, the entire creation is burned to ashes. Nonetheless, you do not know how this happens. What then is to be said of your destroying the Daksha Yajna? When annihilation is performed by the flames and sparks emanating from your eyes, the entire creation is burned to ashes. Nonetheless, you do not know how this happens. What then is to be said of your destroying Daksha Yajna, Tripura Sura, and the Kalakuta poison? Such activities cannot be subjected matters for prayers offered to you. Since Lord Shiva considers the great acts of performance to be very unimportant, what was to be said counteracting the strong poison produced by the churning of the ocean? The gods indirectly prayed that Lord Shiva counteract the Kalakuta poison, which was spreading throughout the universe. Exalted, self-satisfied persons who preach to the entire world think of your lotus feet constantly within their hearts. However, when persons who do not know your austerity see you moving with Uma, they misunderstood you to be lusty, or even they see you wandering in the crematorium, they mistakenly think that you are ferocious and mean. Certainly they are shameless. They cannot understand your activities. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other gods cannot understand your position. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers, but as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. O greatest of all rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone beyond this. No one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Shuka Maharshi continued, Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. Thus he spoke to his eternal consort Sati as follows. Lord Shiva said to Sati, my dear Bhavani, just see how all these living entities have been placed in danger because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. It is my duty to give protection and safety to all living entities struggling for existence. Certainly, it is the duty of the master to protect his sufferings dependents. People in general, being bewildered by the illusionary energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. This is the characteristic of Vaishnava. Paradukka dukhi. A Vaishnava is always unhappy to see unconditioned souls are unhappy. Otherwise, he would have no business teaching them how to become happy. In materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. Materialistic life is therefore compared to samsara Dhavanala, a blazing forest fire that automatically takes place. Lord Shiva and his followers in the Parampara system try to save people from this dangerous condition of materialistic life. This is the duty of devotees following the principle of Lord Shiva and belonging to Rudra Sampradaya. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya is one of them because Lord Shiva is the best Vaishnavas among all the Vaishnavas. Indeed, as we shall see, Lord Shiva drank all the poison for the benefit of humanity. My dear gentle wife Bhavani, when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Person of Godhead Hari is very pleased. And when the Lord is pleased, I am also pleased. Along with all other living creatures, therefore, let me drink this poison, for all the living entities may thus become happy because of me. Shuka Maharshi continued, after informing Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva began to drink the poison, and Bhavani, who knew perfectly well the capabilities of Lord Shiva, gave him her permission to do so. Bhavani, who perfectly well the capabilities of Lord Shiva, gave him her permission to do so. Therefore, Lord Shiva, who is dedicated to auspicious benevolent work for humanity, compassionately took the whole quantity of poison in his palm and drank it. As if in defamation, the poison born from the ocean of milk manifested its potency by marking Lord Shiva's neck with a bluish line. That line, however, is now accepted as an ornament of the Lord, and that's how he's called Nilakantha. That means he's got a blue mark on the front of the neck. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Person of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye idam paramam guhyam and bhakteshu avidyeshtu nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritinaha. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavata to devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him, satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world, but the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of the nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore, the Shastra says one should endure for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, the Lord is automatically very pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord, who is within everyone, supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham nityabhayuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Again, as stated here, tapyante lokatapena siddhava prayaso janaha. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned souls are suffering only for the want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Upon hearing of this act, everyone, including Bhavani, the daughter of Maharaja Daksha, Sati, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and the people in general very highly praised this deed performed by the Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by the gods who bestows benedictions upon the people. Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, and other animals whose bites are poisonous took the opportunity to drink whatever little poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 8th canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Mahabhagavatam, entitled Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking Halhala poison or Kalakuta poison, which came from the Samudra Manthana program conducted by asuras and gods. मोस्तनन्ताय सहस्रमूर्तये सहस्रपादाक्षरभवसहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाष्टये सहस्रकोटियुगधारणे नमः आकाशात् परितं यदागतसागरं सर्वदेव नमस्कारः श्रीकेशवं प्रियत्यो नमः सर्ववेदेशत्पुण्यं सर्वतीर्थेषु यत्फलं तत्फलं पुनवाप्तवासनाद् वासुदेवस्य वासुतन्त्रे जगत्त्रयं सर्वभूतनिवासुदे वासुदेव नमस्ते कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्धात्मना वा हृदये स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि नारायण हरि ओम तत्सत्।